Online Spring Market Walk. We've got 3 of our fantastic stall holders today that we'd like to introduce you to, and if you haven't been to these market walks before, we think they're brilliant. They're a kind of way of recreating that vibe that you get at a normal in-person market, where you can go around and you can chat to the stall holders and you can find out about their work and their inspiration and their methodology and their materials, and you don't normally get that when you're buying from someone online. So we love this as an opportunity to meet them and find a little bit more about them. And today we would like to introduce you to Nell from Hem Handwoven. Oh, I've never messed up saying that before. Sorry, Nell.
It's always the first time.
Always the first time. We've got Emlyn from Cornish.
Hello.
And we've got Helen from Lellibelle.
Hi.
So we're going to introduce you to them one at a time, and then you can find out more about them. And if you're not already on there, please do go and visit the online market, which is happening Saturday and Sunday, and you'll find it on Trestle. And then you can visit all the stalls. You can see everybody who's taking part, and then click on the stalls that you like, and it will take you to their Folksy shop. So first of all, we're going to say hello to Nell. I'm just going to swipe out Emlyn and Helen. Hi, Nell.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. It's busy.
Busy. Oh, there's so many nice weavings behind you.
Oh yes. Yes, I've got lots and lots of stock at the moment. Frantically filling my shop.
Have you been busy?
Yes, very much so, because this is the season swap over for me, where I'm frantically weaving cotton. I've put away the merino for a bit. But when I get to about July, I'll start weaving wool again.
Yeah, okay.
Because I've got such a season lag, because it takes, I'm always slightly half a season out on the fibre.
Yeah. So we've sort of jumped straight in. So, because I know you quite well, but other people might not know you. Would you like to introduce yourself to people who don't?
Yeah. I'm Nell. I'm a hand weaver, and I work exclusively with natural fibres, most of which are textile waste. So they're all what we call mill-end fibres, short amounts left over from commercial textile production. I weave on a custom-built loom that's under this mountain of stuff. It's an 8-shaft, 12-treadle loom built by my partner from reclaimed timber.
It's a thing of beauty, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's it folds up front and back, and it's about so wide when it's folded up, and it's completely unique. There's nothing quite like it. It's really clever.
And there aren't as many people anymore, are there, working on looms, sort of doing the hand weaving through the looms?
I think recently it's got more popular than it's been for many decades, but there's still not a great quantity of weavers out there, because I think it's because it's so incredibly labour intensive.
Yeah.
And I think we've lost a bit of we've got a bit of a disconnect, I think, with where our textiles come from, and just the amount of time and effort it takes to actually produce cloth that will last you a lifetime.
Can you talk us a little bit through the process of, when you first start a piece, because it is, like you said, it's really labour intensive, it's really time consuming, and I think sometimes people don't even have a notion of how it works and what you need to do. Could you sort of briefly explain how it works?
The first thing with weaving is the planning, which was really important. You can't go anywhere near a loom unless you know where every single thread is about to go.
Right.
So I need to do a whole heap of maths, not very complicated, just quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
The design I'll kind of work out in my head, because it'll be kind of like you're painting and you want to get an idea out of your head. Then I wind a warp, which will take me anything from a couple of hours to maybe a day and a half, depending on how complex it is. And then I beam that warp, which is tying it all to the loom with all the threads in the exact order that they need to be. And then I need a couple of people on the other end to keep the tension on. And then we wind it all onto the back beam. And then we thread the heddles, and they control how the threads are raised.
Yeah.
Because it's the warp that is the active thing that forms the pattern.
They're like the vertical bits, aren't they?
Yes. They're the bits that are under tension on the loom.
Yeah.
And that's where your pattern is formed.
Yeah.
Is the ones that are lifted and lowered.
Yeah.
Then I've got underneath, I've got a load of pedals. So I need to tie those pedals up so that it lifts the right shafts on that pedal. So there's kind of 3 or 4 stages.
And that's before you've even started doing the weaving, kind of.
Yeah. And that can be, that's a good 3 to 4 days work.
Yeah.
Of long 12 to 14 hour days to get that.
It really is. It is a labour of love, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think you weave for any other reason than you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Because you love it.
Yeah.
It's not a quick fix or an easy thing to just fall into. You've got to really want.
Yeah. But then, because there's such a level of expertise and such craftsmanship and also artistry that goes into it, the pieces that you make are real heirlooms. I always feel they're things that you would keep and treasure forever.
Oh yeah. Then they're not. They're like a painting.
Yeah.
They're just in a different medium. But I've got pieces that will literally. They will all outlast me.
Yeah.
So I've got these that are, this one is silk, and that, we've got silk textiles that are hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Yeah. So they're so sustainable if you look at it in that way, and the length of time that they've, that they will last, but also the materials that you're using in the first place.
Yes, I use a lot of wool. Wool is fabulous. It's the most sustainable, renewable fibre we've got. We need to be using more wool.
Yeah.
We landfill fleeces. The fleeces are virtually worthless.
So we put them in landfill. We don't.
Yeah. They're composted.
Okay.
Because we've not really got enough people having this sustainability from farm to fibre to cloth. Right. And we need to rediscover that, because it's the most environmentally friendly thing that we can do.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
That use the stuff that we've already got. Use waste products and make good use of it. And instead of disposable fashion, create pieces that will last for and that will also
you'll treasure and that will bring you joy as well. Can you show us some of these lovely pieces?
I can. Yes. This is one that takes a ridiculous amount of time. This is my Staves colour chart. I spent a long time in Staves, and I like a lot of artists previously, the colours of the light in Staves really special. And this one kind of scratched away at my brain for a long time. I wanted to produce kind of every shade of Staves using visual blending. So each of these squares is actually different because each colour is blended with each other colour.
Yeah.
To,
right. Yeah.
Produce this, and this is ridiculously fine cotton. Again, all mill end, all stuff that was going to go in the bin.
So it's extraordinary that you can create something like that. It just floors me, honestly. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. And I've got various different things that I work on. Weaving's a kind of bottomless pit of different techniques and you're never going to weave everything in a lifetime. So I like to kind of mix up what I do. So I've got these, which is it's called deflected double weave, and it's weaving 2 layers of cloth at the same time, one on top of another.
Oh,
and
okay.
I can switch between, I can lift different warps, so different colours up over the other, and it's deflected because they're offset slightly like that. So you get these incredible patterns and effects, but you also get the lightest, softest, fluffiest scarf you could ever imagine.
Amazing.
And then the other extreme from that is these. These are the really finest cotton. They take forever to weave
because the cotton is so fine that you just you've been weaving for ages and you've only got this much, like a centimetre.
Yeah, it's a really good day with something like that. I could probably weave kind of about maybe that much.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's
that's a full day's work. Yeah.
But these just produce a really nice, incredibly lightweight scarf.
Beautiful. Can you just tell us a bit about your pricing? Sort of what ranges?
Yeah, they start about cushions are 85.
Yeah.
A cotton scarf like this one, that'd be 120, but they range all the way up to 295 for this network twill. Took forever, but this is merino and silk.
Oh, beautiful.
And the same kind of price for
that.
The big one.
I always think, if you think about how much lawyers charge an hour, and you think about how much you charge an hour, I just think I wish people had that in their heads and could kind of go, oh yeah, I would much rather have one of Nell's scarves and pay a lawyer for like 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, that'd be so cool.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
I think I did work out my kind of hourly rate.
No, don't. Never do that. No, don't.
And it was I'd get in it. If I was employing someone, I'd get into a lot of trouble.
Yeah. But as you said, you're making it for a reason. You're part of a sustainable craft movement.
Yeah,
you're part of that, heritage crafts, keeping that alive, and you're doing it for the love of it. And it's such a joy to have you in this sector. I'm so grateful that you're weaving and that you're making these beautiful items and objects, real objects of desire, and they're lovely. And I'm definitely going to go and have a look at everything this weekend. In your stall and in your shop. I'm really excited to see all the stocked shelves. So thank you so much. Yeah, you need to get listing them all or making some more and then doing all the.
I've got a warp under this lot that I'm trying to thread at the moment for a big batch of my deeply cotton scarves. So
that's so exciting. Thank you, Nell. So if you want to go and see more of Nell's beautiful pieces, cushions and scarves, go to the Folksy Online Spring Market, find Nell's stall, which will say Hem Handwoven, and that will take you over to the Folksy shop. Thank you so much, Nell. It's been joyous. And I'm going to introduce Emlyn and say bye to Nell.
Bye.
Bye. Hi, Emlyn. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Ooh. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Yeah. So you're all the way down in Cornwall?
I am. I live down in the far west of Cornwall, and that's where I hand carve spoons. So that's my trade.
That's your trade. So you're actually you were our featured maker. So if people want to know more about you, they can go up on the over on the Folksy blog and they can read a whole interview with you. And you did the Folksy Maker takeover as well, so people can find more about you as well on Instagram.
Yeah,
but for people who haven't already seen that, could you just explain a little bit more about kind of just yourself and your craft and your inspiration?
Yeah, well, I first sort of became interested in wood because my maternal grandfather was a wheelwright and master carpenter. And I remember when I was a small child going into his workshop, and just that smell of wood and the huge array of tools that he had, and being captivated by that. And so I sort of I got this love of working with wood, I think, through him. And I've continued to do that through the years. I mean, I lived down in Cornwall in my teens and was a tin miner for a while. But I then trained as an actor at the Bristol Old Vic Theatre School, because working down a tin mine was the hardest work I've ever done in my life.
That's quite a leap from tin miner to acting.
Yeah, I was doing quite a lot of am-drams, and it was somebody said, you should try, you're good at this, you should try it. I didn't know the first thing about it, but I got into the Bristol Old Vic Theatre School, and my contemporaries were people like Daniel Day-Lewis and Miranda Richardson, and then I worked in repertory theatre for many years, and with the RSC, and starred in the West End. I played Mowgli in the first ever production of Jungle Book.
Did you?
Yeah, and but all the time I was still working with wood. My missus and I had bought a semi-derelict Jacobean thatched cottage, and I built a kitchen out of old floorboards, and we renovated the place. So that hands-on thing with wood has always been there. And the spoons really came about because we went to a gallery a number of years ago, and there was some wooden spoons in there, and I looked at them and thought, they're interesting, but I'm sure I can do better than that. So that's how that sort of came about and evolved. And I'm completely self-taught, but there's something wonderful about getting a block of wood. I mean, the sort of, when I get wood, it's very much sort of just a piece like this.
Yeah.
And then I draw out a template, so with something like that, and then start carving. And the tools I use are really very basic. I mean, there's an axe, which I'll use to cut out the basic shape, and then it's just a series of knives and scoops. So traditional tools. And
so as they would have been made, for centuries.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm still using some of the tools that were my grandfather's, which is lovely. It's got that
nice,
sort of
that continuity.
Yeah, absolutely. And currently, I mean, I'm working on things like mermaid spoons, which is my own design, which is they're made predominantly from alder. There's quite a lot of alder in Cornwall because it's a wood that likes damp places.
Right.
I carve them, so there's a lot of detail actually in the body. All that's carved into the body. But then I do things like apply a milk paint finish, and milk paint is an ancient formulation of paint that dates back to the pharaohs. I mean, there are examples that have been found in the tombs of the pharaohs. And then I found...
What is milk paint? Is it made from milk?
Yeah. Its casein in the milk is basically used as the basis.
Right.
And then earth colours are added to it originally. It's the paint that was taken by the Pilgrim Fathers to America. So it has a huge history. I mean, it goes back thousands of years. In fact, the paint that's on prehistoric cave walls, where you see handprint and they've blown paint on, that's milk paint.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Milk. And it's been added with sort of ochres and things like that.
So the pigments.
Yeah, there's a lot wider range of pigments these days.
Yeah.
But then I've been adding to these these things, which it's a thing called lucite, that was developed by DuPont in the 1930s and comes in a range of colours. Here's another spoon with a bit of and when DuPont invented it, it was used in the Second World War for aircraft enclosures and windows and cockpits.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a very hard wearing, and it doesn't react with UV. But after the Second World War, there were a number of factories that were producing stuff for the war years. But of course, when the war was over, they looked around for other marketplaces, and they started developing bits for costume jewelry. So a lot of the costume jewelry that dates from the 50s, 60s and 70s has lucite pieces in them. And luckily, I found a supplier who's actually closing shop, who has a big array of lucite. I mean, this is a piece that I'm working on at the minute, which
isn't that fantastic?
that's tannalized oak. So that's a local oak, and that's a humbug lucite in there. And tannalizing, this sort of way of tannalizing oak was used in medieval England. That's why a lot of cottages that you go into, old cottages, have blackened timbers.
Yes, okay.
Because they apply it's just very simple. It's a vinegar mix, and it reacts with the tannin in the wood and preserves it, but also gives it this dark colour. So that's a recent lucite piece, and I've got that. This one's ready for a mermaid spoon.
Amazing.
They're lovely pieces.
Yeah.
This shop is closing down, so I've managed to secure sort of quite a number of pieces of lucite that I'm incorporating in spoons.
Yeah. And a lot of your spoons, I know you try and source everything as locally as possible. And there was one that you did a giveaway recently with a piece that was from your own garden.
That's right. I mean, that piece I showed you initially, that bit, that's from my own garden. And we've got a number of trees that we prune every now and again. And that's the great thing with carving spoons, is it's timber that wouldn't really be used for anything else. It's too small to make bowls with. A lot of it is destined for the wood burner. It's firewood.
That size piece is exactly wood burner size, isn't it? That's where
exactly. And we've got a wood burner, and every now and again we get a delivery of logs, and I just go through it going, that's interesting. I'll have that bit. It's I try and work with local and responsibly resourced timber as much as possible. When I say we have logs delivered, that comes from managed woodland on the Lizard. So I know where the pieces would have come from.
Yeah. And to give us an idea about kind of what you've got at the market and pricing, what things are you selling this weekend? Have you got some examples?
Yeah, I mean, some of the lowest, the bottom end of the market is they're under £20, and the top end of the market they're sort of £40. So, for instance, the mermaid spoons, they're about £40 simply because of the amount of work that goes into them. The carving and the painting and the lucite.
But they are artworks. They're they're fantastic. I love them.
I've actually got, I don't want to shock you, but I've got a naked one here. And this is one I'm working on at the minute. This is actually from lime wood. So that's the basic shape that I'd like to get this movement in it.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see that stage of it. I loved seeing, from the wood to then you drawing on it to the next stage, and then this. It's really fascinating.
Well, actually, on my Instagram post, I've got a number of videos that that take you through the process, that show you my process of carving.
That's amazing. And I was just thinking as well, it's Father's Day coming up as well. That's a good opportunity to give a spoon, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you want a coffee scoop for your dad, this is a range that I'll be adding to. So they're all ready for this weekend, and this one's got an ammonite fossil in it.
It's amazing.
So these fossils are about 65 million years old.
Wow.
So
there's a lot of tradition, a lot of history in that one piece, isn't there?
And they're really the top end of the market. They're sort of I think, well, that one is about, with the lucite, is about £36.
Okay.
And this one with this is another lime wood spoon with an ammonite in it. That's about the same sort of price range.
Amazing. And as well, are you running a discount this weekend for the market?
I am. I'm running a 10% discount on everything on the shop. So
it's a really good opportunity to pick up a Cornish spoon made in Cornwall.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, it's been fascinating. I could honestly talk. I could do this all day long. I'd just be very happy to just listen to all of you tell me about your craft. It's fantastic. Thank you so much, Emlyn. So if you want to have a look at what Emlyn's got on his stall this weekend, go to the Folksy Online Spring Market and then find the Cornish spoon stall, and that will take you to his Folksy shop. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to bring in Helen and say bye to Emlyn. Hi, Helen.
Hi, Camilla.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. We have a little bit of a problem with the sound on yours, don't we? It's a little bit blurry, so we're just going to have to really listen up.
Okay, I'll try and talk clearly.
It's better actually when you're closer to the screen. It's always, technology. How are you today? Are you good?
Yeah, good, thank you. The sun's shining.
Oh, I know.
Lovely
Doesn't it
day.
make a difference?
Yeah.
I love it so much. I love spring. It's always my favourite season. Just
There's just so much inspiration for me. I keep taking photographs of flowers I'd like to embroider and insects and get a bit carried away.
Yeah, and also it's that thing of everything is sort of flourishing and coming out, and you can watch it, happening sort of in real time. You know, flowers, you're just coming up and then you watch them open and unfurl. It's that life-giving season. I always think it's just
it
really
makes
special.
you feel. I think it makes you feel quite positive after the winter season, and
yeah, it does. So could you introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Helen from Lellibelle, and I'm a textile artist. So I use fabric applique and machine embroidery to create designs inspired by British wildlife, and then I have them printed onto greetings cards, and I'm expanding my homewares range from tea towels, coasters, and I've just had some new placemats printed.
That's exciting.
Quite popular.
Yeah, that's exciting. Have you got some examples that you'd like to show us of things, new products or things that you're launching at the market?
Yeah, well, so my a new coaster range I've had recently from my popular bird range, but I've called them peeking birds. So the little bird is sort of peeking out of the corner.
Yeah.
Sun's
it's in the sunshine there. I like that. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And they're lovely quality coasters. They're cork backed, and there's a nice weight to them.
Yeah, and lovely.
And they just wipe clean really easily. I mean, I spilt some red wine on one of them recently, and just a little baby wipe and straight off. Yeah.
And do they come? Are they sold singly, Helen, or do they come in sets?
Either or. You can buy them singly for £4.50 each.
Brilliant.
But I do the sets as well.
Nice.
I think
so you could have a complete set of little birds.
Yes. Yeah. There's 9 in total. 9 of the peaking bird ones. Yeah, and they're all British garden birds.
Nice. Do you have a favourite within the birds?
I think the wren, that was probably one of the first ones I did on a different colour background, and I think what I really enjoy about my job is that I have to look really closely at the animal or bird, and I just feel like I see things which I just wouldn't, I have to look at it really closely. There's tiny little feathers underneath their tummies, and I just love it. Yeah, I love.
Yeah, well, it kind of makes you more connected as well, doesn't it? It's that process of, as you said, looking really carefully and observing. You just notice so much more than you do in everyday life, don't you?
Definitely.
Yeah, lovely.
And then in the spring, I did some embroidered padded hearts with snowdrops and crocuses on, which have sold really well on Folksy. I'm just going to launch at the market this weekend. Just getting the light right. This is a sweet. This is a sweet.
Bend backwards. It's beautiful.
And I've got.
Can you move it to that side? Yeah, I think that's it.
Little tendrils and things on there that sweet peas have. I've really enjoyed embroidering those.
Yeah.
This is a flat one I've been working on this morning. I don't know if that's easier to see because you can sort of see through it a bit better.
I can see it. Yeah. So can you explain the process of how those are made?
Yeah, so I cut out the little heart shapes on the fabric linen, and then I draw around a little template with all the different petal shapes and the leaves, and then I use Bondaweb, which is like a double-sided adhesive for fabric. So I iron that onto the coloured bits of fabric, cut them out, iron them onto the heart, and then I use a combination of freehand machine embroidery and just normal stitching of the machine. and then I stitch them so that the back of the heart has a little Lellibelle label on. Stitch them back to back, turn them inside out, pad them, and then add like a little silver hanging thread.
Oh, gorgeous. There's
So
such lovely things to have.
Yeah, well, they started off as Christmas decorations. Actually, last Christmas I wanted to make some I wanted some Christmas decorations of my designs, and I looked into getting them printed, and then I thought, you know, what am I doing? I'm a textile designer. I should just make. I can make some. So yeah, I just did an experiment with them, and they sold really well. So
Yeah,
that's when I moved into more of a spring theme, and you know, now moving into summer. But
yeah.
I'd love to get a collection for like a seasonal.
Yeah, wouldn't that be good? Because you can just keep making them. You can have the spring, the summer, the autumn, and then the more Christmassy ones.
Yeah, and actually I've left some of the Christmas ones hanging up in the house because the ones I did of the stag and the hare, yes, they've got little beads on that are like snow, but they look nice. Just hanging up on a dresser or.
Yeah, beautiful. And how much are the little heart?
They're £14 each, with free second-class delivery.
Yeah. Brilliant. And are you running a discount this weekend for the market?
Yes, I'm doing 10% this weekend.
Fantastic.
And I'm also going to do, so all my greetings cards are £3.50 each with free delivery. But I'm thinking I might do a bundle, I'm going to do a bundle of 4 for £10. And then people can choose whichever design they want.
Oh, that's great.
Flower range or insect. If people just look at my shop and see what's available in the shop, and then they can just pick and choose.
Oh, that's brilliant. Have you got some of the cards there?
I have, yeah. This is quite a popular one, the butterfly one, the peacock butterfly.
It's gorgeous. On the lilac. Is it? Oh, Buddleia.
Buddleia, yeah. And they're printed on recycled card, and they're just blank, so people can write their own message. But I've got the original embroidery here, just so people could see.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult to get the screen right. I don't know if this is going to work with the lights.
No, I can see. Oh, yeah, there we can see it. Yeah, so because it's about seeing the different sort of levels in it and the actual stitching.
Yeah.
So you do the embroidery, and then you take a print from it, and the print, the high quality digital print of it becomes the card.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, you can see the back of the design as well. You can see all the stitching that's.
Yeah. It's amazing. So much work in there.
Yeah, to be honest, it's my happy place, just sitting at the sewing machine, sewing. It's the only time I don't think about jobs, you know, like housework jobs or things that the children need. I just come in my studio and I just completely switch off. And
well, it's that focusing of the mind on a task, isn't it? That is also, you're connecting your hands with your brain in a way that uses, I think it fires certain neurons that you don't get with anything else. And yeah, I think that's why crafting is really special, because you're connecting the two things. Yeah, amazing.
I just love it, and I do get frustrated. I've got so many ideas of different designs I want to do and different products, but yeah, I think at the minute while the children are young, I think I had this conversation with you a couple of years ago when I chatted to you last. I've just got to be patient, bide my time.
Yeah, and just keep making what you can at the moment, and keep thinking of ideas then what's going to happen and what you could do. But your range is it's ever expanding, and it's just really exciting. And I think you've got such a beautiful color palette as well. I love the way that you work with colors, and there's a delicacy to it as well.
Yeah, I love colors. It's funny, I did fashion marketing at university, and I remember one of my tutors saying about going into colour prediction, trend forecasting.
Yeah.
But I ended up going into textile design, which I absolutely love. But yeah, I love colours as well.
Well, it definitely comes through. It definitely comes through. It's so nice speaking to you. It's always a pleasure. I always find you really inspiring.
Oh, thanks, Camilla.
So if people want to find you elsewhere, so they can find you on Folksy at Lellibelle, and where else can they find you?
Yeah, I am on Instagram and Facebook, and I recently opened a Twitter. Not Twitter,
TikTok.
TikTok. Yes, I'm trying to go with the young people.
Be where the young people are.
I've found quite a few folksy sellers on there. Actually, there's some brilliant videos.
It's actually a really good place for craft and
Yeah.
videos. It's quite inspiring. It all goes a bit too quickly for my older brain, and I kind of want it to just slow down a little bit. But I do think you go on there and it is really inspiring if you find the right people to follow.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to do more video content for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, it's just
But if
remembering.
people want, sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, just remembering when I'm working to remember to video it.
Yeah.
You finish a process and then you think, well, that would have been great as a little reel or something. But there's just so much to think about, isn't there?
But that's exactly what I was going to say, that if you want to, if you're watching this and you want to know more about Helen's process, go and have a look, particularly on Instagram, because I think you're really good at documenting it and showing people how you work. And it's really interesting to see that, how the embroideries take place and how that becomes a final product.
Yeah, I think it's been really important actually to try and get really good photographs and videos of the process, because the quality on the card is so good. You can't always tell,
so good.
But you can't always. You almost want to see the embroidery with it to see how it translates into it. And I do try, but I just take the video and photographs on my phone. It's quite a good camera on there.
Well, yeah, it's really good. I'm always fascinated by the process, and I've had quite a lot of your cards, and they are really good quality as well. The card itself is really good.
People do comment on that, actually. I do pass that on to my printer is a friend, a local printer, and he really likes to hear the feedback.
Yeah,
on the quality.
I think it's a really good quality card. I'm going to bring everybody else in now, and thank you, Helen, and thank you, Emlyn. And thank you, Nell. It's been so fascinating to kind of hear all about what you do in a bit more detail. I literally don't want to stop. I could talk to you about it all day. I almost feel we could have a nice kind of community chat and just speak to each other. That would be really interesting. It would be really nice. But please do go and follow all these wonderful people on their Instagram accounts, on social media, and definitely go and find them at the market, and then find them on Folksy, and enrich your life by buying lots of their things. It would be wonderful. And don't forget, if you want to take advantage of any of the discounts of the market, the code is Spring Market. It's the same for every shop, and you can follow the hashtag, which is Folksy Spring Market, if you're following on Instagram or Twitter. I think it probably works on Facebook as well, although I don't really use hashtags on Facebook. And yeah, I'm really grateful to you all for giving us your time and expertise and just a little bit of an insight. It's been fascinating. Thank you.